views and opinions expressed by the following program and its participants are solely their current opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Bobo 89.1 FM and DMS Broadcasting respective stations.
Hi, this is Patricia Bryan. Tune in on Mondays between 5 and 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM for my new talk show, Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Do you want to know about the legal system in the Cayman Islands? Do you want to be informed about legal issues surrounding employment law, civil litigation, landlord and tenant, criminal law, family law, wills and trust, estates? We will discuss this all on my new legal talk show where there's nothing going on except legal talk. It's called Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan, Mondays at 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM.
Are you ready for this? It's time for a twist. Unexpected, a new direction. Wait and see, it's gonna be a game changer.
Good afternoon, listeners. Thank you very much for tuning in for another episode of Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Last week we had the Truman Bodden Law School in studio with us, and this week we have two students from the Truman Bodden Law School. And I know you're probably wondering, why would she start with the law school, or why would she start with students from the law school? Well, as I said in last week's episode, I do believe that a legal education is the formation of being in the legal field. And I also decided to promote the legal studies in order to encourage more students to enroll in legal studies. Right now, we only have the Truman Bodden Law School. I am encouraging the other two academic institutions on the island, higher education institutions, to implement legal studies programs such as a certificate or associates or some other lower tier legal studies program for those who may not want to attend law school itself and become a lawyer, but may just want to dip their feet in the water to see what legal studies are like. But here with me in the studio this afternoon is Miss Kimberly Russell. She is just finishing off her second year.
Yeah,
her second year of law school at the Truman Bodden Law School. And we also have Miss Valeska Borden-Castillo. Is that right?
That took a lot to say, didn't it? I know, yeah. My name is Valeska Borden-Castillo, and I am finished with my second year of law school and will be doing my third year in September.
Well, welcome, Valeska. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you.
It is really good to have you ladies here.
Oh, my pleasure.
And first, I want to get an idea of your backgrounds. If you want to share a bit about yourself for our listeners to hear. Just a synopsis of whether you're Caymanian, if your mom and dad is from here. Just kidding. Just a little synopsis of your background, just schooling, your academic background, and what got you into law. Valeska, you can go first.
Sure. So, me personally, I actually didn't even know that Truman Bodden Law School existed till about 3 years ago.
That's why I'm doing that program.
Till about 3 years ago, it is probably the best decision I've ever made. Because prior to me doing law school, I had made a career for myself in hospitality.
Wow.
And I was one of the best Caymanians on this island, the way my career was set. I mean, I entered hospitality at the age of 13, and I worked my way up.
And what areas of hospitality were you into?
Oh, I've done everything from front of the house to back of the house. I know how to scrub a pot and clean a glass. I know how to serve the guests. The only thing you possibly would not like me to do would be the cooking of the food, like in a professional setting.
Right.
But other than that, I have really worked my way up from the bottom in hospitality. And I think for a very long time, it was only because we didn't know that other opportunities existed. So as Cayman, as you grow up and you hear hospitality is the best sector to go
Right.
into, but there's so many other little pockets of gold in Cayman that you can always get into. And I just happened to find a little pocket of gold.
When you found the direction to attend the law school
Well, it wasn't as easy.
or the hospitality industry?
It wasn't as easy as that. My background came from obviously COVID had hit, and everyone that has ever built a career in hospitality lost absolutely everything, right? And I have a best friend. God bless her, because my best friend bet me $50 and a bottle of gin, I kid you not, during COVID, to apply to Truman Bodden Law School. And that's how I ended up making that application to
So
Truman.
what was it, something that wasn't on your mind at the time?
It was, but given the circumstances of COVID, we didn't know if the world was ending, if we were all going to be contaminated and just shrivel
Right.
up. We didn't know. So it wasn't my first thought. My first priority was get another job.
Right.
And how do I get another job in an industry that doesn't exist anymore?
Okay, I see where you're going with that. Right. So that was your thought process when you decided to enroll.
Correct. I needed to have a plan A, B, C, D, all the way down to Z. Because other than that, I was at probably G at this point.
I think we all were looking for a plan at that point, in the midst of COVID. So you decided to enroll.
I decided to enroll. It has been the most roller coaster of a ride
Right.
that
What-
I
what-
have ever taken.
What did it entail for you to enroll in the Truman Bodden Law School?
Well, I enrolled as a mature student.
Okay.
So my
So over the age of 21.
correct.
Okay.
So my criteria was a bit different. And at that time, we weren't doing in-person exam anymore.
Right.
So my admissions was I had to write a research paper and submit it.
Oh. That was your entrance?
That was my entrance. And I wrote a research paper, I kid you not, on marine mammals and sonar and how it affects them.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. I wrote a biology paper for an entrance exam to a law school, but that's what I submitted.
Okay, and they accepted that?
They accepted it, and I don't know if I scraped in. I just knew I got in.
Right.
So that exam, that decision, my friends pushing me has really, really changed my life.
So how did you feel when you were accepted? How long did the process take?
Well, I got accepted 3 weeks into the semester started, so I was probably one of the last acceptance. And your initial thought going in there, as someone that's like never been in any form of private sector environment, you're used to the stigma of lawyers don't approach them and they don't really have time to be dealing with people. So you expect to go into the school and be like, these teachers are going to be snooty and mean. But when you get there, they are the exact opposite. They are loving, they're kind, they work hard to provide for you, they go above and beyond what they're required to do.
Right. So let me ask you, how did you celebrate when you were accepted to the law school?
How did I celebrate?
Yes.
I still haven't celebrated.
You haven't?
No. I'm waiting to graduate.
That is a milestone in your life to be accepted to law school.
I'm
You should have
waiting
done something nice for yourself.
I'm waiting to graduate.
Okay, so where are you at in the process now?
So currently I will be doing my third year in law school.
When September comes?
In September comes, which means about 8 more months of schooling.
Okay.
And then we graduate with our bachelor's of law in
Okay.
honors program. And then I am applying to do my professional practice course. So the PPC
Right.
program
Which is for 1 year.
for 1
Right.
year. And then to do my articles so that I can do the admissions to bar. to the
Okay.
courts. Yes.
So during the entire time you've been studying, have you been going full time?
I have been going full time.
And have you been working full time?
I have been working full time.
How tell us how that has worked out for you, because it sounds like it's a lot.
Let's just say it takes a lot of discipline. You need to have a lot of discipline.
Okay.
Discipline is, you're young and your parents tell you, stick to it. You're gonna need it. Stick to it
Right.
because you need it.
You're hammering that into you.
You don't realize it until you have to need it.
Right.
And I found that when I was going through it, because at one point I was working night shifts and going to school in the day and then taking care of my family. I had to learn how to sleep in a stairway because I had to be at work
at a certain time.
at a certain time in the morning. So you get up, you get it done. You don't make excuses. You just get it done.
And how has the classes been for you? I mean, have you found some classes easier than others, or?
I don't think any of them are easy, if I'm being quite frank. But the way that the lecturers have kind of introduced it to us, it makes it more understandable.
Okay, that is very good, because the instructor's ability to convey the teachings to the students is for me, it's very and I love the word very, I don't know why, but for me it's very impactful with how students receive the information and how they learn, and it boosts your morale and your self-esteem in the learning process too. Do you think that way?
For sure, for sure. And I've learned, I know for the first couple of months, I was like, I'm not going to bother my lecturer. I'm just going to stay and be quiet. But when I discovered that I can go into any of these lecturers' classes, like their offices at any given time, sit down, I do not understand this, can you go through it with me? And they will always say yes.
Okay. And
So that's very helpful.
how did you pay for law school, if you don't mind my asking? Because we want to know.
Out of my pocket.
Out of your own pocket?
I
You didn't obtain a scholarship?
I did not attain a scholarship. To be fair, I was kind of punishing myself the first year.
Okay.
It was almost, how bad do you want it?
Right.
And I
So it
knew
was a decision that you made
correct.
to prove a point to yourself?
To prove a point to myself,
Okay.
because I almost felt like if I got it funded, I wouldn't have wanted it.
Worked as hard for it.
Yeah, but now that I've worked as hard for it, I've gone through the first year, I've gone through the second year, I've paid my way through the second year. Now, for my third year, I am being funded by Campbell's Legal as a 2023 scholarship recipient.
Very good. Congratulations
Congrats,
for that.
Valeska.
So now I can celebrate and say, I know I want this.
Okay.
So I need funding, if that makes sense.
I must commend you on the route you've taken. As a young person, as a young female person, I should have asked the law school for the statistics of male and female, but I guess that's neither here nor there. But I do commend you for the path that you've taken, and I can hear it in your voice, how proud you are of yourself. And I imagine your family is proud of you too.
Oh, they're
You know?
ecstatic.
And we're going to turn it over to Miss Kimberly, having her sitting here in quietness. So tell us a little bit about your background, Kimberly. What your academic credentials are in terms of high school, and if you may have gotten any other credentials before you decided to enroll in the Truman Bodden Law School.
Okay, so I went to high school here in Grand Cayman, which is Grace Christian Academy.
Grace.
Yeah, so I also graduated valedictorian from my high school.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I guess it was in like my last year of high school that I decided that I wanted to study law. You
Okay,
know,
was there any particular reason that might have popped up in your mind why you thought?
honestly, it was a spontaneous decision to
Okay.
study law.
We'll accept that.
But the main reason was that I had a mentor who is a lawyer, and I kind of was inspired by him and his path. So I just because of that, I just decided to go and study law.
Well, that's another good reason that you mentioned that, because I hope the attorneys on Ireland are listening to know how important it is to mentor prospective students, or even just to go into the schools and talk about the legal education, the legal system, and it just might sway another student the
Right.
way that it swayed you.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
so that was the turning point for you deciding you wanted to go into the legal field. Now, so you applied to the Truman Bodden Law School, and
Yes.
what credentials did you apply under?
Well, I have to be honest, my path in getting into law school was not easy.
Okay.
It was not. I tried about 3 times to get in. The first time was I submitted my SAT scores, but it was not enough to grant me entrance.
Okay.
And I had to take another exam in order to get in, but I still was not successful.
So it took you 3 tries.
Yes, but
You
I
know
didn't.
what?
I didn't give up because
what? You
yeah,
didn't give up.
commendable.
I didn't give up.
You
No,
didn't give up, and I'm
That is
proud of you for that.
commendable.
Yeah,
Because look
for
at
sure.
you today. Yes, I am so proud of you for that. I did not know your story,
yeah,
but I commend you for that. And it's just another example of showing why perseverance is the way to go. Because try and try and try again until you succeed. And Kimberly, I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
Learning this about you today. So continue with your story.
yeah. So
Yeah.
as I said, yeah, took another exam. I didn't get in, and my last option, my final option, was to take the mature exam, which Valeska mentioned. You know,
Right.
yeah. So I did that. You had to be at the age of 21 to
Right.
take the mature exam, and I was 21, and I, made a decision. I want to get into law school. I'm going to take the mature entrance exam, and I'm going to have a good experience at law school.
So you were accepted finally after 3 tries.
Yeah.
Again, congratulations on your perseverance. How did you feel when you got that letter?
I was so happy,
Because
honestly.
I'm just having the chills for you right now, to be honest. I had chills for Valeska, and I'm now having chills for you, just hearing as young people talking about getting that acceptance letter. And I imagine it was more so for you because you had the challenge of having to try more than once,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So give us a little tidbit about that excitement. Did you cry? Did you thank God? Did you thank your mom, your grandma? Did you hug someone? I mean, what did you do?
I mean, I always say thank God. First things foremost, I thank God for giving me this opportunity. I thank myself for being able to persevere and
Right.
keep trying.
That's very important.
Yeah, and also I told my family, I told them that I got into law school, and of course they were happy for me and so forth. So, yeah, I was just
So-
excited to start.
So tell us now how your path has been. You're on your second year. You just completed your second year. How have you found law school so far? Your experience at the Truman Bodden Law School and your experience as a law student on a whole.
Okay.
Think very
Well.
carefully.
Law school is not easy, but
can imagine.
it's worth it, I have to say. It's honestly like a pot of gold, I have to be honest.
Yes.
Because the knowledge that you learn, like, nothing compares to that.
Right. I've said that on last week's show, how important it was, or it is, in order to expose yourself to law in the legal field, because it plays such a vital part in your everyday living. And until you study law, you're usually not aware of that. I do know of some people who do make it their concern to, expose themselves to a legal background despite not wanting to go to law school. But to go to law school and actually study law is a whole different experience.
Yes, for sure.
And for you, have you often felt any type of frustration or joy, or were there times you're up and down and I want to give up?
Yes, a lot of those.
Did you have to sacrifice your social life?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't have a social life, let's be honest,
Right.
I could not go out. I have to sacrifice studying and, not going out and stuff like that. Late nights. Sometimes I didn't get much sleep. But yeah, it wasn't easy, honestly, but it requires hard work, and you have to put in that hard work if you want to see the results,
Right.
because it will only benefit you in the future.
Right. And were you able to obtain a scholarship, or have you paid for yourself through law school also?
No, I am on a government scholarship, actually.
Well, congratulations for that too. We're happy to know that the government is supporting our students. I know many students who've gotten government scholarships. And is there a certain GPA you have to maintain going on a government scholarship?
Yes, you do. So in the first year, I believe you need to have a 2.2, which is the UK equivalent grading system.
Right.
And second year and third year, it's 2.1 and above.
2-1.
Yeah, nothing lower.
That's not a bad expectation, I think, for law schools for a government scholarship. That's actually good. So, in learning that now, I'm not sure if it's still the same thing, because this is what we're now 2 years ahead. I'm not sure if it's the same expectation, but if it is, it's very good, and it's a good window for students to be mindful that this is doable, this is acceptable, I can try this. Any of our students that are listening, or parents that are listening, and you want to push your children into law, this is doable by the sounds of it, from what I'm hearing from these two young ladies. And so, Kimberly, what have you found the most challenging in law school? I mean, we've heard about the Truman Bodden Law School and how easy it is to go to the school. Not easy as in to go to the school, but how workable it is. They try to work with students to try to help them gain entrance into the school, and the staff is superb from the way that I've heard it and from the experience
Yes.
I've had with staff there. And again, this is important to me because I want to promote young people. I want to promote more residents, more Caymanians, more young people to get into the legal field in any capacity at all. I attended the University College. They, at that time, had a legal secretaries program, and that was pretty much the done deal for me, saying I want to get into the legal field. That program no longer exists. I'm hoping that they will bring it back, but again, there may be many of us who may not want to actually become lawyers. There may be some who just want to be a legal secretary, or just want to do a course because that course exposes you to the law. It covers some areas of law, and it also covers areas of technology and, administrative areas of occupation. But I am interested to learn what else has stood out for you so far in your journey from either of you. If there's anything particular that you feel this is what kept me going, or I mean, what has something stood out for you so far in your studies?
For sure. I think for me, if I can say, the one thing that I have really fallen in love with is the community that backs the students.
Right. And that's in the school and out of the school also?
In the school, out of the school.
The legal community?
The legal community that are there behind us every step of the way. They know the journey because they've done it
Absolutely,
themselves.
yes.
So
You're right.
they're always willing to give a hand. They're always willing to be there. They're always willing to even just show up.
Right. That's what's going to make the students successful.
Just being there and then nudging us every step of the way. That for me has been possibly the most incredible moment. It kind of reminds me of like Cayman in the 90s where everyone was united.
Right.
That is what it feels like. It's a very loving community. And while there is that stereotypical, it's a tight community, that's far from the truth.
Right.
Very, very far from the truth. Once they hear I'm interested in law. I want to go to school. You're going to hear, how can we help?
Absolutely. Well, that's exactly how it should be. And what about you, Kimberly?
I think like similar to what Valeska is saying, like the classes at the law school, it's such like it's small, and so it's like a family for us. We get individual attention, which you might not get like at a regular university in the
Or a bigger
U.S. or
school.
the UK. So that's like really beneficial for us. Yeah.
Has there been any times when you felt, I don't know if I can do this, or were there any, for either of you, any type of learning challenges or obstacles?
About every Monday,
Mhm.
every other Monday, I say that. I sit in my car and I go, I do not want to do this anymore. But then because we're so tight knit
Right.
as classmates and stuff, I may call Kimberly and be like, I don't understand this, Kimberly. And Kimberly goes, let me explain. And we work together. And then because we've created that kind of free, non-judgmental zone, it's never about what do you know versus what I know. It's never who's competing against who. It's always, let's work together.
Right,
Let's
right.
put each other up.
That is exactly how it should be in the legal system. So what areas of the law, Kimberly, has both of you can answer this, has been the most enjoyable to you? Where you feel, when I'm done with this is where I'd like to specialize. Is there any particular area or areas that?
Yeah, having gone through like my second year of law school, I think I finally decided that I would do corporate law.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that suits me best and my
Okay.
personality. So definitely not criminal law
Okay.
or anything like that. But yeah, corporate law is where I'm thinking.
You do realize corporate law is a bit boring, right? I'm just kidding.
So are you calling me boring?
We all will have our own personalities for different areas, so I
Yeah.
definitely can understand you thinking that way. You know yourself. And for me, not enough Caymanians get out into the field, or enough local residents get out into the field where they are on the forefront practicing law. Many of our local students will go into corporate law or some type of law that's inside the office where we may not even be aware of who they are. It would be great to see more get more on the forefront. What area are you planning to practice
So
in?
initially,
Right.
I came in I was on my high horses. I was like, I'm going into corporate. And then I sat down with Mr. Perkins. He's one of our professors.
Right.
He's amazing guy. I left that office going, maybe I should go into litigation.
Right.
maybe I should definitely go into litigation, just because of that connection to people and wanting to help, that willingness. But I think corporate still has my heart for now. For now. We'll figure it out as we go along.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I think
So
one
why do you feel like corporate is the best option for you?
the structure behind it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're gonna enjoy drafting contracts all day, signing documents and stuff like that. Are you ready for that?
we'll see.
We'll see when we get there.
We will see when we get
Yeah.
there. I mean, life is so unpredictable. You wake up one day and you head bet that you're going to be a corporate lawyer, and then you meet somebody and they change your life, and you say, you know what, I want to do this instead.
Right.
I can graduate with my law degree and then go and be an artist.
Have you found that you have family and friends that are now asking you legal questions because they know that you attend the law school?
Oh my gosh, that's the most annoying thing.
And my primary thing is,
And do you let them know that, hey,
Oh yeah.
the disclaimer is I'm not an attorney. I
I'm-
cannot give you legal advice.
Of course,
Of-
that's the first thing
of
we
course.
say.
I mean, we don't want to be disbarred before we even in the bar,
Absolutely.
right?
I agree with you there because Cayman is a small community, and that'll be something easy to hear. So now we're going into our final year, and any ideas of where you may want to do your, well, first you're going to go and do what's the other course called?
Professional practice
Professional
course.
practice, and that's for a year. And you'll be working full time at the same time while you're doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your
Well,
plan, Kimberly?
I haven't decided just because the PPC is it's a lot of work, you know, so you might have to dedicate a lot of time to your professional practice course. So I'm not sure if I'll be working
And
at the same
if you
time.
keep up that GPA, you'll most likely get another scholarship.
Yeah,
So keep
hopefully.
your fingers crossed there. And then we'll talk about articleships after, if you want to be practicing attorney.
Yes.
Any ideas about that? Any future plans? Do you have a perspective of where or what that looks like from now, or that's not in your thoughts?
From now, well, how the articleship programs work is you do the rotations, and then after the rotations, you kind of decide in more realistic time where it is that you could end up. So I guess in my perspective, I'm staying open until I'm able to experience those rotations and kind of playing the field and figuring out there when it comes on to who I want to kind of commit to as a company organization. I will be committing to Campbell's
Okay.
just because they are my scholarship funding. So and they're one of the great firms of this island, of
Right.
course. So I stay loyal.
Yes.
I stay loyal. So
Well, you know, they've supported you through your journey, through your studies. So, you know, we all make the decisions we think that are best for us. And what I would like to know, and going to school, there's other students I'm sure that you guys know, you ladies know. How have you, from what you've observed or what they've shared, how have you figured their journeys have been? Has it been as exciting as yours, as challenging as yours? Because what I want to portray is for prospective listeners to know it's doable. I am so keen on encouraging more Caymanians, more residents to get into the legal field. You know, it's just a passion of mine. The legal system is growing in the Cayman Islands, and I would just love to see more attendance at the Truman Law School. I would love to see more attendance if the other two institutions were to bring back legal studies, because this was something that was very prevalent many years ago when you ladies were younger. And the island and the population have grown. And I want to, sorry?
I said, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you've seen the other students that go to the school. Do you think they're as excited about this as you ladies are? Do you think they have that same, you know, passion and wanting to get through this and go out there into the Caymanian society and practice law? As I'm picking up from you.
I think we all have a purpose, and each one, despite how we portray it, we all know where we're going
Right.
and what it's going to take to get us there.
Right.
So we all work hard. We all put our heads down. We all do what we need to do and just push through. No matter how hard it gets, we're still there.
Right. And that's definitely what it takes to get through the law school.
Yeah.
Definitely
There's
what it takes.
and I know that there's also this weird stigma behind the age limits and stuff.
Right. Well, you know, the good thing I have found about law, not to cut you, and I always say this to people, the good thing I've found about being in the legal field and being a lawyer is that you don't ever have to retire if you don't really want to, because you can go on and on and on. It's not the same as, you know, a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant. They're three occupations that usually can go on indefinitely for the rest of their life, but definitely the legal field, because there's so many different tiers you can go on and elevate.
Yeah,
with being
for
in
sure, for sure.
having a
But I
legal
was
degree.
I was more inclined to say that there are a lot of folks that probably feel like their life is just over. They're probably 30 thinking, I don't want to go to school, but I want to make something better of myself.
Right.
This is a great, great opportunity. It's a quick 3 years in. You dedicate 3 years, you sacrifice 3 years, you change your life forever.
And how do you feel about that, Kimberly?
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, like it's, as I said, it's worth it.
You can chime in at any time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's a lot of hard work with law school, but just put in the work 3 years straight. Or you can do part-time. Part-time is 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah, so we have that option as well. You can do
Right.
part-time.
Yes, it's good for people to remember that it doesn't have to be full time.
Yeah, so,
And the school is very, very accommodating when it comes on to financial part of it as well.
Right.
So they'll go above and beyond to create payment plans that are specifically, specifically for you, and make sure that you're able to meet those target goals to stay within
Because they want you
school.
to succeed. You've come that far to get accepted,
Correct,
to get
correct,
into the program.
correct.
Kimberly, you want to add anything there? No?
Yeah, no, one of my professors, Mr. Bromby, he left a saying in my head last year where he said, at Truman Bodden, they're not giving you a degree. Like, they're giving you an opportunity to change your life. They're here, their family, whatever it takes, they're there. As long as you're willing to fight and willing to keep going on that journey, they're going to be right there, right next to you, or behind you, in front of you, but they're going to be right there.
Right. I think this is a good time for us to take a break, and we'll be back in a few short minutes. Thank you for listening, and keep holding on. Hi, this is Patricia Bryan. Tune in on Mondays between 5 and 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM for my new talk show, Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Do you want to know about the legal system in the Cayman Islands? Do you want to be informed about legal issues surrounding employment law, civil litigation, landlord and tenant, criminal law, family law, wills and trust, estates? We will discuss this all on my new legal talk show, where there's nothing going on except legal talk. It's called Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan, Mondays at 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM.
Are you ready for this? It's time for a twist. Unexpected, a new direction. Wait and see, it's gonna be a game changer.
We're back live with Kimberly Russell and Valeska Borden-Castillo
You got it.
from the Truman Bodden Law School, two students who have just completed their second year of law school, and in September will be going into their third year.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are happy to have them here. They've been sharing their experiences with us, giving us a bit of their background, letting us know how they were accepted to the law school and how the journey has been so far. I am super excited to have these ladies into the studio today. Again, as I said, our session last week was to have someone here from the Truman Bodden Law School, Miss Laura. And it's a privilege to have these young ladies here on board with us today to share the perspective from the students' angle. And I just wanted to ask if there were any final words. Miss Kimberly, did you have anything that you wanted to add? I've seen you walking through town sometimes, and I can see the pride in your stride and in your face to know that you're a student at the law school, and with your books.
Yeah, I do have a lot of law school books. Yeah.
And are you agreeing with me when I say that I can see the pride in your face to know that you're a legal student?
Of course, I'm very happy to be a law student. I felt like it has, I've learned a lot being at the Truman Bodden Law School. I feel like I'm growing as an individual, as a student,
That is great. That's
Yeah.
the other aspect to it that we never think when we decide we want to go and study law school. What has it done for me as a person? What has it changed about my outlook of
For sure.
myself and life in general?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So yeah, I'm excited for my law school journey, and as I said, I'm moving on to my final year, and
I'm so
I'll
happy
be
for you.
graduating in 2024. So
yay! And you, Miss Valeska?
With me, in regards to how I feel about
Right.
being a law school
I haven't seen you
student.
walking through town, so I can't say if I've seen. But I'm sure you have the same feeling inside yourself, and it's probably made the same effects for you as a person, and how it's changed your perspective about yourself, made you more confident.
By far, yeah. Law school has given me a complete 180 in my life.
Right.
And my life was a disaster. We ain't gonna talk about that, but it has changed my life. It
That's
has
good.
given me
That's
a
good.
fighting chance
That's good.
to keep going and to provide and to create something that's magical, that is just there after we graduate. It's just there, and that is what that school did for me.
I want to ask, has at any point have you ladies gotten involved in any type of social, does the law school promote those types of activities where you get involved with community services, community events, any type of social interactions? Are you involved in any clubs, or are you involved in doing anything with the community at all, or have you been even before your studies or during your studies? Say, for instance, Young Business Professional Women's Club, or I can't think of another organization. There's quite a few community things that go on, that I was just wondering if you ladies got involved in anything, or maybe you just don't have time for that with all the studying. Is there a legal club at the law school? Is there anything like that?
Well, there's the student society, and
Okay.
and they host annual galas and fundraisers,
Okay.
in which they raise funds to give back for the students and textbooks and various other items, and they do arrange for social networking events. And a lot of the firms themselves also arrange for a lot of social networking events,
Okay, yes.
and do give us that opportunity to be a part of that as well. In regards to outside individually, I think individually we all kind of do our own things. Some may clean the beach, some may go walk the dog. We all kind of do something individually.
Right.
But anything that would be having Truman Bodden Law School would be through the student society.
So I imagine you ladies have met some very prominent and important people in your time at the law school.
yeah, we have.
We're not going to name names here. We're not going to name names here, but I just wanted to say that I imagine that would have helped bolster your your confidence in taking this path, also to see other people who have elevated themselves in life simply by going to the law school or becoming a lawyer or getting involved in something with law. And I would just like to say that I hope your families will continue to encourage you and support you. I hope your employers, I know for sure, will continue to support you. And I don't know if you have any final words, but being in the legal field myself, I know that it is a tight-knit community. I know a lot of people that are in the legal field and out of the legal field, but also who are just in a general being aware of the legal arena. Are you okay? And I wanted to give you an opportunity to say some final words. We'll go with Miss Kimberly first because she's just seemingly sitting and being quiet. I know you're probably not used to being in front of the mic.
No, definitely not. But I would just encourage students who are like thinking about studying law to, seriously think about like applying to Truman Bodden Law School. As I said, it's a great opportunity that you should not miss, and you should definitely go for it, and it will be definitely worth it. So, yeah, just apply, reach out to the receptionist there, and yeah, take it from there.
And we're also reminding that financing a legal education should not be the reason why, if you feel you could tackle law school, that would not be the reason why you don't apply to the law school. There are many options available in and around the islands for financing. And as we heard Ms. Valeska say, the law school is very cooperative and workable with helping with payment plans and other options. We know the Department of Education. We know many legal institutions on the island, companies, even companies that are not involved in the legal field, I am aware, have offered to do scholarships for students, law students. And we hope that this continues. We hope that as the knowledge of the show gets around, that there will be more scholarships offered than there are, because I really don't think from my research that there is enough available, and also the time frame that is allowed for students to apply for scholarships, I think, is a bit constrained. And some students do come in late in the process, and by that time the scholarships are all closed. So that is something we can look into with the relevant parties involved with giving scholarships. Ms. Valeska, do you have any final words you would like to say?
Sure. My final words would be that if you are in a position where you are seriously contemplating changing your life, you don't know what you want to do, you don't know how you're going to do it, I dare you to apply to Truman Bodden Law School. I promise you it will change your life. It will change the life of your children and the family around you. And you will
I agree with that.
gain so much that you would never believe another world out there existed. But you gotta just take that risk. So if you're really wanting to take that risk and you're desperate for a fighting chance, go for it.
And to our listeners, I'm sure Ms. Valeska and Kimberly, if you ever want to talk to either of these ladies, the way to contact them is through the Truman Bodden Law School, and I'm sure they'll make themselves available on the permission of the law school to speak with potential students who just want to connect and get an understanding of what the process is like on a one-to-one basis. And I just want to thank you ladies again for coming on the show.
Thank you
very,
too.
very appreciate it. I hope it's been a good experience for you.
It was the best. Thank
And
you.
it's good that you were able to put your face and your voices out there to support and encourage other students who may be thinking about getting into law like yourselves. Thank you very much for coming on with us this evening, and we hope that you'll have a great evening and the show would have done something productive and
Yes.
good for you,
Thank you
as
too.
the law school have been doing. Thank you very much.
Thanks too.
Special thank you to Bobby at Island Photo. Thank you for the great pictures. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, or you have questions, you have topics that you'd like to see discussed on the show, anything surrounding any type of legal issues, the contact number is 922-5086. Email legaltalkwithpatricia@outlook.com. That is legaltalkwithpatricia@outlook.com. Also, be sure to look out for my social media accounts: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you the same time next week. Mondays at 5 to 6:30 p.m. Bobo 89.1 FM. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, this is Patricia Bryan. Tune in on Mondays between 5 and 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM for my new talk show, Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan. Do you want to know about the legal system in the Cayman Islands? Do you want to be informed about legal issues surrounding employment law, civil litigation, landlord and tenant, criminal law, family law, wills and trust, estates? We will discuss this all on my new legal talk show where there's nothing going on except legal talk. It's called Legal Talk with Patricia Bryan, Mondays at 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Bobo 89.1 FM.
Are you ready for this? It's time for a twist. Unexpected.